Sydney, great to see you. Welcome to Popternative.
Hello, thank you so much for having me. It's so good to be here.
I'm so excited to chat with you. I mean, congratulations, Lilo and Stitch. Global phenomenon. I mean, I had a feeling. You know what I mean? I feel like it's scary to kind of think about those things, right? You just do your thing and you wait, right? That's basically what it was.
Yeah, totally. I know. Well, that's like the whole thing of the industry at this point in time too, is hurry up and wait, you know?
Absolutely. So it's exciting that we could talk about it now that it's out, which is really, really cool because you did a lot of interviews and, people are asking you things and you're walking on eggshells a little bit because you don't know what to say. How's it been
So
for
true.
you now that it's out and you could talk about it more and your family and friends have seen it? What's that been like for you?
No, it's been really cool. And, it's been really amazing to see just the global collection of love
Yeah.
and feeling like everybody's coming together as a family and people are enjoying it and they're crying and they're happy about that. They're like, I feel like the thing that's been most or one of the most impactful things that have come across have been like the messages that I've received
Yeah.
and how much they've related to it in their own ways and related to my character. I've gotten a lot of moms come up to me, caretakers, a whole bunch of different things like that. And they're just like, I understand you're playing a character, but I can't tell you how much I felt seen and how much this meant to me. I feel like I can actually achieve my own dreams. And I feel like I'm not going to leave someone behind. I feel like it's a huge story about, perfection and imperfection and the way that a family looks that way, so I'm
Ohana
really
means
stoked.
family. Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 That I loved it. I have to tell you something. I swear what I mean. Like Lion King is always number one, but Lilo Stitch was number two for me growing up. It was one of my favorites.
No
I
way.
love Lilo
Yeah.
Stitch. I just love the vibe. And it was just so much fun and like the friendship and I do want to ask because at some point there is this announcement that we're getting a live
Yeah.
action Lilo and Stitch. And then
Yeah.
people are asking like what's Stitch gonna look like? I wanna know. Take me through like you book it and everything.
Okay.
What was the
Okay.
first kind of glimpse that you had of the live, like the animated, like the Stitch in the live action film? Was it a sketch? Was it like an electronic kind of
Yeah.
version? Like I want to know about that. Like that first look. Like was it like a sketch?
Yeah. We had little stop motion, very early sketches of the VFX to see how they wanted to go about the whole scene in particular, and then to try to gauge out. At first, I was like, are you showing me this because this is kind of where you want me to end up as far as like blocking goes? And then little did I know it was just because they were trying to figure out in their head what they would make Stitch.
Yeah.
Like, is it going to be a dog this time around? Is it going to have to be an X, a human? Is it going to be a maquette or a puppet? It was really the whole process was extremely collaborative.
Mhm.
And from the start, they said Dean, Chris, VFX team, they all sat us down and they were like, so look, we are just as new to this as you guys are because this is a very different type of movie we're making.
Yeah.
Stitch is a beautifully nuanced character.
Yeah.
And he does a whole bunch of different things. He's not one animal, you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
he's an alien. So he's got a whole bunch of stuff. So like it was really cool because we all had to work together on that sort of thing and trial and error. And it's like, okay, my ego can calm down because you don't know either.
And my filmmaker hat kind of asks you this question right now, Sydney, is, we see some scenes in this movie, especially, the restaurant scene and everything, that, is like 4 or 5 minutes of runtime, right? And then you're told you have to go to work, right? And then boom, next scene, with Lilo and Stitch, with, the fountain drinks and everything, the best.
Yeah.
We see that, and that's like, a 3-minute thing where you have to go to work and she got kicked out of hula. But that might have taken you the whole day or two to film that scene. So my question is, when that happens, like those big scenes, do they feel like their own mini movie or mini project? Or do they overall feel like part of the project?
No, no, totally, absolutely. No, we'll like come back from lunch or like they would let me off and like let me go back to my trailer sometimes, or maybe I would be able to go home or something, or someone else was able to like get wrapped for a little bit. And then next thing you know, they came in at like 9. And then next thing you know, they're like coming back at 5 p.m. And like we're going from like sometimes like 9 through midnight having to go over whatever. And next thing you know, we're like, we're still on this scene.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Make a
Like,
whole
that's
movie about that
crazy.
scene.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's really fascinating because, I'm still learning so many things, and I think that that's why I love film is, and I think that everybody is such a team is because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
Oh,
Like, we're just a piece of a puzzle, you know?
I watch
Yeah.
things like I make films now, but like I watch things a lot different now
You're all
after making
critical
them.
and like
Imagine
looking
those
at it. Yeah.
movies that we watched growing up. That like, what would
Yeah.
it be like now that we know how they're made? Like, would we like them more?
Yeah,
Or
I know. Well, I
opposite?
definitely no, see, yes, I love that because I definitely appreciate a lot more than I did because I never knew anything and
Yep.
like, ignorance is bliss. But at the same time, like I'll also catch myself feeling like, oh man, I wish I had the ignorance, blissfulness of this because now I know exactly what's going on here and like I can see your wig, man. Like,
Oh yeah, I know.
sheesh, you know?
Absolutely. But okay. So perfect segue. Next question. I know, especially with this film, just seeing everything, so much happens before you all went to camera on Lilo and Stitch. There is so much. There is so much preparation. There's so much conversations. So from an acting storyteller perspective, Sydney, you could see this as two journeys. Before filming Lilo and Stitch and after filming Lilo and Stitch. Or does it feel like one big journey for you with multiple steps in between?
I think it feels like three, actually. I feel like, and you can keep parting it. Yeah. Because you have pre, you have during, and you have post.
Now, yeah.
So I feel like, and with our interestingly unique kind of project in the way of strike happened, and we had like certain things where we had to stop because there were trailers that caught on fire.
Yeah.
And we had to go and deal with all of that stuff, like very outside environmental factors that we couldn't really control. I think it allowed me to kind of move into each chapter cleanly and like really get to like settle with it and process. I feel like this role in particular was also a major chapter for me as a person, not just in my career, but as a person.
I am so happy for you, though, by the way. Like, you did an amazing job with the role. Like, congratulations. Seriously, I just want to say that.
Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
But you learned a lot just from like, just not even like an acting perspective, like just a life perspective.
As a human.
Yeah, as a human.
No, totally.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the most beautiful things about this project. And also why I really do love doing projects that I'm passionate about. And I've been very, very lucky to do the projects that I'm very, very passionate about. And this really brought me back to my home. And I was able to expand my family in that sort of way to another island. But also I had to like deal with a lot of identity crisis throughout the whole thing. And before that, as growing up as a child, like I had to deal with that myself. And now I was like in a place where I was like, I gotta figure this out now. Like,
Absolutely.
It's a beloved film and I love Nani with all my heart. And I knew that as a person, as a worker, as just a part of the community, I did not want to do her disservice. So like, I really just wanted to hone in on that. And I had the whole community helping me.
You did an amazing job.
You.
No, you did such a good job. Perfect segue to my next question, though, because you say beloved film. I mean, this might be tricky because it's something you have to think about, but it's like, did it feel like a little, like at the end of the movie does, have a lot of similarities to the animated and, there's a lot of kind of Easter eggs and pays homage, right? And the story's similar in some ways and everything. But at the end of the day, it's not the animated movie, right? It's the live action film. So did it feel like a bit of a ping pong match a little bit from an acting storyteller perspective with that? Like a little bit of a tug of war?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're never gonna be able to forget history. You know what I mean? And obviously, I think it would be dumb to forget about something that was so iconic, and or think that you could recreate something so iconic. Mm-hmm. And I mean that in a way of like, it's got its own specialty.
The flower fell.
Yeah, exactly. Fall from the tree.
It didn't want to be in the interview anymore.
Yeah.
Too much screen time.
They're like, dude, I need a rest. No, I think we were able to find a really nice balance of paying homage, like you said, to the heart and the soul of the film, and we gave the fans what they wanted in that sort of way. And I think that the cool part about taking something from animation to humanity or to human live characters is that you get more of that humanity and you get to go deeper because you're dealing with human connection. Like eyes are the window to the soul. And I think that that's very true. And, you know, and I think like you're also dealing with human error in that sort of way as us as actors. And those things are beautiful and they're uncontrollable in that sort of way. So I feel like you had to forget about it.
Did it feel like a little bit of like a two-headed monster a little bit in regards to the music component of it? Like it's not like a full-out musical like a lot of other Disney movies, but like music was a really big part of it. You know what I mean? There was a lot of things like that. Like,
look, you're gonna have a foundation and you're gonna have a streamline. And I think that that was something that we all held very dearly. Like I was like hell-bent on needing Elvis in here, you know, and Aloha Oe is a very, very huge staple. And so is Elvis again. So like in Hawaiian Roller Coaster Ride. So I'm glad that all of those things were kept very beloved and very near and dear to everybody and very important to everybody. And I think that the people that we got as creatives understood what kind of movie they were making.
Yes, and perfect segue. The surfing scene is one of my favorite scenes. Obviously, Stitch is not there while you're filming that. Are you conscious that he's there though? Are there moments where do you have to like pretend that he's there so that you don't like? What's that like specifically?
Oh yeah, sometimes he's just air, and we're like, sorry guys, we got to deal with it, and just like look that way. Pretend there's an X in the water that way. Otherwise, we had like the gray like weighted puppet or something like that, and then they or we had like a stuffy that was really really light that they could just duct tape all around, and so it almost looked like a murder scene, to be honest.
Oh my goodness!
And you're like, oh my god, this poor guy is so duct taped to this board.
It really is a global phenomenon, and it's so exciting. And I just went to my friend's birthday party this weekend, and they just went to go see the film, and they had like the Lilo and Stitch popcorn bucket. You know what I mean?
So cool.
Just like I know it's so cool, but it's just like I know. It's scary to think about sometimes, but it's also exciting. But like, you are part of like a global phenomenon. You're part of like the biggest movie of the summer. Like it's a really cool, exciting thing. I know you try not to think about it, but have you had the chance to kind of think about it a little bit more? Because it is really cool when you get over the big, scary.
Totally. No, yeah, totally. I mean, like I think like the more and more I'm able to sit with, honestly, I think that it'll be like a year or two, or just like time will really kind of set in for me. I think that everything's just been go, go, go still.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the more and more that we come along, I think like, and the more people are like, did you see this? Or did you know this about like, you know, all of the stats and everything.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been just honestly really cool to see how far it's reached and how much people have loved that. And that's really set in. Absolutely. And so all of the noise has kind of started to block out, which has been really cool.
For sure. And then last question before we wrap up. We both kind of talked about the beloved film, global phenomenon. We were both fans of the animated film. I know as an actor, you try not to do this. And I know you want to be present and do the character justice and everything.
Yeah.
But given that this is such a fun ride for the audience and people love it and they laugh, they cry, right? It's going to have all the emotions. Were you ever conscious of the audience member watching Lilo and Stitch while you were making it in production? Or is that something that happens a little bit more after you wrap, so to speak?
I think I was, I don't know. I think in order for me to separate the fandom, because for me, I'm such a huge fan.
Yeah.
And again, like the daunted aspect of things, I think like I really had to set into the story that I was telling. And I think there were points in time that I totally forgot there were aliens involved. And I know that it's in the title.
Yep.
And like for me as an actor, like I think I really like had to hone in on who Nani was at the time of filming. And now I get to step back and be like, oh my God, I forgot that like Jumbo and Pleakley did all this stuff and we got to see it on screen. And it's really cool to kind of see it feels like a piece of life we were able to create together, and somehow it ends up being Lilo and Stitch and this incredible film that I can't even still believe I'm a part of it.
I'm so happy for you. Seriously, again, I keep saying that because it's just so cool to just see because I know the work that's put into it. And I think that's what gets me so much more excited about it. You know what I mean? Because
you're freaking awesome, just by the way.
Oh, so, no, I really appreciate that. And no, you're awesome. Like, thank you so much for your time. I know it's been crazy. And Lilo and Stitch, if they haven't seen it in theaters, they can go see it again. They can go see it, but they can go see it again and again which is great. Sydney, so great chatting with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Same, of course. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. We're actually doing a Hawaii local screening right after this. So I'm like in the green room right now.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
So I'm really excited.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so your social media is just your name if people want to keep update with everything on Instagram.
Yeah, Sydney Agudong, yeah.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Sydney and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.